Hello, happiness abounder, and welcome back. Today I'm excited to talk about, you guessed it, happiness. But I want to talk about happiness in regards to our life as it is right now. At the time of recording this, we are under quarantine. COVID-19 is rampant across the globe, and a lot of us are struggling with the changes that are happening in the world. And here's the thing that happens when things are changing around us. We can lose sight of what it is that truly makes us happy. We can lose sight of our hopes, our dreams, our desires. We tend to collapse upon ourselves and feel the overwhelm of these changes and forget that we have a choice. Happiness is not dictated on all these things around us. It's an inside job. And that's something that we all tend to forget. So I want to remind us today in this episode and remind us that it's going to be okay. Because it really is. Because happiness being an inside job means that you can find new ways. As humans, we are programmed, to use one of my favorite words, to pivot. Now, I'm an ex-basketball player, and being able to pivot was one of my favorite things. Essentially, you can plant one foot and be able to pivot around that to be able to see who to pass to, who to make the shot after you've picked up the ball from dribbling. Or if you've received the pass, you can pivot and then be able to put the ball down, dribble. So pivoting is a great way to maintain your stability without breaking the rules, right? Because you can't travel. So it's a way to maintain your stability with one foot and move around to find your options with the rest of your body. Now, what does this have to do with anything? You have something in your way. You have whatever it is, whether it's COVID-19, whether it's being stuck at home because of COVID-19, there's a lot of moving and changing things happening right now. But what we tend to do as humans, especially right now, I'm seeing it so often, is that we decide we're going to go sit on the bench. We're just going to wait it out and it'll be over soon. And we're just going to wish that it's over soon. What I want us to think about today, what I want you to think about today, is how can we plant our foot in knowing who we are, what we stand for, remembering who we want to be, our hopes, our dreams, our desires, understanding what helps us, what our life looks like in its happiest space, and then pivot around until we find the pass. What I mean by that is pivot around until you find the opportunity for those things in your life. Now, sometimes that opportunity doesn't look like what you imagined it looking like. For instance, let's say you wanted to host an event for your business, or networking is a big component of your business. With those things kind of going by the wayside, you have to pivot. That could be digital events, that could be attending online meetups, that could be joining meetup.com and seeing who you can engage with there. There's so many opportunities if we're willing to pivot. If we stop putting our blinders on, collapsing on the floor, rolling over to the bench and saying, I'm just going to watch Netflix until this is done. Now, I'm not saying that crawling over the bench and taking a break is wrong. Not at all. But what I am saying is that this is the time. For us, it's been 4 weeks of quarantine in the state where I'm at, which is Utah. It's been 4 weeks of quarantine. That's plenty of time to go, okay, this is a lot. I don't want to deal with it. I'm going to zone out. Sure, fair. But it's not going anywhere, which means it's up to you to choose where you want to go, to remain strong in who you are and your goals and what brings you happiness, and pivot around that person or that situation trying to take the ball. Now, if you're not a basketball player, I'm so sorry for the deep sports reference. Essentially, we need to plant our feet at least one of them, and move around this until we can find the opportunities to help us continue in the direction we want to go. There's no one way to do anything. If there's one thing I've learned in my happiness mentoring, which is my favorite thing in the whole world, is that every person I mentor is completely different in how they approach happiness and what happiness means to them. And one of the most exciting things for me is to help them uncover that, help them embrace their identity and what happiness looks like and means for them versus what it means for everyone else, and help them pivot around their obstacles so that they can get the shot, make the pass, whatever they need to do, if you're going to go basketball terms, but whatever they need to do to be strong and to win. And winning, in this case, is not about other people. It's about happiness and overcoming the challenges that we're facing right now. And that's one of the things that I love. So I want to encourage you, when you are in this space, if you listen to last week's episode, I listed out the 6 behaviors that people do pretty much when they're sitting on the bench. They're avoiding their life. Today, I want to encourage you to step out onto the court. Take life into your own hands. Ensure that you have a defender. You have someone, something, a situation blocking you. You can find a way. Because this is the thing. This whole podcast, my entire business, everything that I mentor people on is this concept that you are capable of happiness abound. You are capable of it. But you have to step onto the court. Now, some of you this might not resonate with, and you might think, oh my gosh, you're such a jerk. You don't know what it's like for me. You're right, I don't. I don't know what that defender is for you. But I do know staying stagnant is regression. And I do know the longer that you put your dreams on hold because of an outside external situation, the harder it is to come back. And I also know that when that happens, the more that you get in your head and you tell yourself that you can't do it or you're not worthy or you're not capable. But the second you step your foot on the court, you are capable. And that's what it comes down to, is believing in yourself and saying, I can overcome any obstacle and challenge. There's no one way of how to do things. Side note on that, we're going to change metaphors really quickly, but I'm in the middle of writing a emotional management, personal development-esque book. Essentially, it's about self-care and emotional management to climb the mountains of your goals. If you're interested, let me know. Send me a message. I'll get you on the pre-list. I'm taking orders now. But what I'm getting at is this whole concept, this metaphor of climbing Mount Everest. Now, there are several routes to Mount Everest. There's not just one way to climb that mountain. Now, there's a lot more that goes into detail in the book, but there's a lot more than just one way to climb the mountain, and that's the spot we're in. Our path of what we thought we were going to be able to do snowed in, avalanched over. Now is the time to find a different path. Work around that defender or that obstacle, pivot around it, find your opportunity, and take it. Whether you're a business owner, a parent, a corporate leader, all of the above. This is your time. You can do it, and you are capable of happiness abound.